Thank you. I am John Bloom, and I'm the General Secretary of the Anthroposophical Society, and it's a hard act to follow. So thank you. I was surprised by what came up for me as we sat quietly, and some interesting threads are weaving together. Working with the rice, hearing of the heart, and what came for me was this very, very beautiful and very obscure fairy tale that's in the Grimm's called The Grave Mound. Everybody knows the story, right? I said obscure, so proof. And I'm not going to tell you the whole fairy tale because I can't do it in 3 minutes, but the opening scene comes with a farmer who is an older farmer who's sitting on the couch looking at his window at the fields, and they're, just full of abundance. He sees in his barn the grains are sitting up there on the, on the loft, and the loft is sagging from the weight of the grains. And he looks at his treasure chest, which he's kept, so, by the way, this is a money story. And he sees his treasure chest there. And he's sitting down and kind of really appreciating all of this, just kind of. And then he hears a knock. And the knock, actually, he goes to the door and there's nobody there. And he sits down on his couch and he realizes, oh, this was a knock on my heart. And then he begins to listen, and his heart says, all this beauty and this wonder and this wealth, what have you done with it, right? What can you do with it? What's its meaning for you? And of course, he starts shaking because he hasn't really thought about it, but he sits back down on the couch because he almost collapses. And he's sitting there, and suddenly there's a knock at his door. And the knock at the door this time, he goes, and there was the neighboring peasant with a cup in his hand saying, could you share a little rice for my family because we have no food? Beautiful moment. And he says, of course. And the whole story unfolds from there. But without that knock on the door of the heart and the deep listening, right? Near threshold moment of death, as he's shaking, he almost has a heart attack listening to that. That moment of transformation would not happen. That opportunity shows up. Can we be attentive to it because of the inner condition, the readiness to hear it? I really feel like that's a key to the future. And also to be able to answer for all these practices that we have. I mean, we've been gifted with so many practices, 6 basic exercises and how to know higher worlds. I mean, practice after practice after practice. Can we answer the question so that? Because I feel like the time for practice is over. It's not about practicing. It's about the activity and action that we've been working on. So that we can sit down every night and reflect, so that what? And of course, we have the 4th panel that says, so that good may become. But it should be more specific, so that.